What's up, everyone? How you doing? And current date is 25th of January. This video is going to be going out today as recording ASAP. I've already obviously posted my normal daily video, so there's going to be a second one today. And it's currently just gone 10 in the morning for me, and I wake up to see that yes, there's a new update. There's a PUP currently going on right now. So let's get into it. Let's go see what's going on. And of course, first here, we've got all the stability, performance, UI stuff. You can pause the video and go through that stuff if you really like. Sound, graphics, blah, blah, blah. But we want to get into the good stuff. So here we go. All right. General, units and buildings. Artillery now takes 3 seconds to embark on ships. Wow, mind blown already. That's an absolute huge change. I've posted a few videos recently where you've seen like just some crazy. We saw Minimolt do some crazy artillery micro with his boats on islands in Saguenay. Saguenay. What am I talking about? It's too early in the morning. I can't talk properly. And you've seen that a couple of times. So I don't know. Maybe the developers are thinking that's too OP. My opinion, I just think because it only affects a couple of maps. I personally think that's part of the skill ceiling, and I think that's something which should be rewarded. And it takes a decent amount of micro to be good at that. We saw it with the Mini versus Revnat game on Saguenay recently. It was Inca versus Spain. And go and watch that video back if you want to see some insane micro with culverins. Being able to pop frigates, being able to pop artillery out, and culverins particularly really quickly in and out. Yes, maybe it's a little bit too good. I don't know, but I think that's probably part of skill. So I don't want to just eradicate skill and micro from the game. So I worry that's punishing good skill as opposed to it actually being too OP, because there's only a couple of scenarios and a couple of maps where I can think you can realistically do that. But hey, it is what it is. Walls cost increased by an additional +4 wood to 10 wood, up from 6 wood. Wow, the second one's even crazier. Yes, totally agree with that. Walls have consistently been too good throughout DE. That's one thing that has been too OP. It gives defenders advantage, way too much advantage. So they're increasing it by even more. So +10 for the normal walls, and then 1 wood is still for the wall segments, right? The pillars. 10 walls for a segment. 1 wood for a segment, for a pillar. I like that. So that's good. That gives people the ability to rush harder and better and be more successful. Stuff like that. So, more rushing in the game, more early rushing, I think will be good for the meta. Hand shock infantry, fix the omission of removing the cover mode from several units such as tiger claws and rattan shields. Okay, good. Stagger formation, increase the maximum number of lines in the stagger formation to 6 from 4 to ensure units spread out correctly at the selection limit of 95. That's great. That seems like I don't know what difference making it to 6 from 4 will be, but for anyone who knows, stagger formation only works when you've got a certain amount of units and they spread out really effectively. But when you reach a certain amount of units, say you've got 50 units and you put stagger mode, it doesn't actually stagger them very well. And they actually jumble up in sections and make it worse. So that's always been an issue throughout since the beginning of the game in 2005. So maybe they're trying to fix that. So when you've got 95 units, they'll all stagger out really wide. How that's going to look, that'll be crazy. So I would have to actually get into the game to see what that actually looks like. But if it does work how I think it's going to work, then that's a huge buff. And it's a huge buff it's a huge nerf for Falconet play, like Musk Falc type play, which it clearly sounds like they're trying to nerf. Because there's probably a couple of other things here as well, which I briefly read. Galleon likes ships that can train units by default are now classified as training ships. Galleon likes. And why Galleon like ships? I don't know. Okay. All right, fine. Training ships is getting its own classification. Interesting. Culverin now inflicts 400 damage against training ships such as galleons or steamers, down from 700. Okay, that's why they've given them a new tag, because they don't want culverins to do as much damage to them. That's kind of cool. That's the whole point of galleons. They're supposed to be resistant against like building fire, so I guess they're now trying to be resistant against culverins as well. Nothing about falconets or heavy cannons, so just culverins. Outlaws added a class icon to make bonuses against outlaws visible in the statistics panel. Cool. Damage bonuses against outlaws get added through Sheriff, United States, and Carabinieri, Italians. Interesting. I'll have to see what that means. Woku Ronin, speed increased to 5 from 4.5. They get increased speed? Ronins are getting increased. It's only Woku Ronins, okay. Tatar Archers, rate of fire improved to 1.2 from 1.25. That's almost negligible, but still a buff. And artillery damage multiplier reverted to 2.5 from 2. That's a huge buff. Tatar Archers are really, really good. They're really, really good. You see a lot of native play with them if you're playing as particularly France. So them getting buffed, we're going to see more of them. Every time we see them on a map, we're likely going to see them now. Mountain Trooper, reduce the promotions benefits for range and rate of fire for 2 and 3 by about minus 33%. That's a shame because that's just nerfing. That's nerfing Sweden, unfortunately. That's a really good card for Sweden that they had. And nerfing this means that Sweden are going to be nerfed even harder. Which is, a bit of a shame because I've used this card effectively to win, literally to win a couple of games, really tough games I had. There was one recently against a really high-level Japanese player, I can't remember, and this card came in clutch. So now that they're nerfing it, I don't know if there'll be a point on sending this anymore. But we'll have to see by how much they're nerfed. It says minus 33%. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Sudanese Dervish. Damage, ranged, and range resistance reduced to 9 from 14. Holy crap! 13 from 14 and 15% from 20%. Oh, so the damage is decreased. What? That's a huge nerf! Range is less, and range resistance is 5% less. Remove the 0.5 damage multis against infantry, artillery, and villagers. Oh, okay, so now they don't have a negative multiplier versus infantry. Okay, and villagers and artillery. Range damage multiplier against heavy infantry reduced to 2.5 from 3. Speed increased to 5. I don't know that. There's so many different things there. Unless I actually see what all of it looks like in one go. Like that sounds like a huge nerf though. In essence, that's a huge nerf to Sudanese Dervish. Was Sudanese Dervish a big problem? Not really. Zapotec Lightning Warrior. Damage multiplier against heavy infantry reduced to 2.25. I agree with that because Zapotec Lightning Warrior, like, thank the Lord you can't make a lot of them because, my God, those things are insane. Like, they are actually really, really good. You don't often see them, but they are very, very good. They like, don't have a weakness, basically. So that can honestly go down to 2, a multi of 2. But yeah, that's fine. Garden Technologies, Advanced Artillery. It's been a long time coming. We've been waiting for this card to be buffed for a long, long time, and they've gone and done it. There was talks about maybe it would send a wagon, like an artillery wagon. Lots of people have suggested different things on how to buff this. But Advanced Artillery, it looks like the devs have gone for sending 1 mortar with it. Now that is really, really good. I think what we're going to see now is the thing is you still have to build the artillery foundry, right? And so that does delay things. But sending a mortar now, like even just having 1 mortar applies pressure to your opponent. Yeah, this is going to be in everyone's deck. This is going to be in everyone's deck. Obviously, people perceive there to be a huge meta of turtle play and like FI play and all that sort of stuff. So having a mortar now is pretty scary. So if you see Advanced Artillery in someone's deck, likely you put up a fort and stuff, and mortar's going to go down. And is that too good? I don't know. I probably prefer it sends a wagon because 1 mortar is really, really good. Like, I don't know, maybe you see a lot of fort plays. Fort's just going to get whacked now. But I suppose it's a card for a card. So they have to sacrifice that card to be spent in order to like take down a fort, for example, or take down towers and TCs, etc. So I definitely think that card needed to be buffed. So we'll see in time if that's too good or not. But I think that might be fine. But it's still a really good card. Anyone who doesn't know, Advanced Artillery just means that you can send mortars and heavy horse artillery in age 3 Obviously now it also sends one mortar. So one mortar is slow. So again, just thinking about it, if this comes all the way back from someone's TC and they don't have a forward outpost, then that mortar is going to take a long time to get somewhere. So, you know, I think it's good, but I think it's absolutely fine, actually, thinking about it. So, but we'll see. We'll see how good it is. Bastion, Redoubt City Walls, now slows down wall construction time by an additional plus 30%, up to plus 70%. That's good. So, again, nerfing walls. When Bastion comes in, basically, it slows down the construction time. Golden Reuter, the ability now increases cavalry armor by plus 15%, down from 20%. That's still fine, and that's still a really good big button. I remember how OP this thing was at the beginning. It's so dumb. Aztecs. Aronite speed increased to 4 from 3.75. Improved damage multipliers against artillery and cavalry to 5.25 and 0.75. Why are they buffing Aronites? I know they're only small, but why are they buffing Aronites? Why do Aronites need multis versus artillery? Who thought that was a good idea? Honestly, I think Aztec are they're an S-tier civ. Why are we buffing Aronites? That's the first thing so far I've disagreed with, but you guys watching the video, let me know if you think that's a good idea or not. I love the discussions, by the way, so by all means, throw in all your discussions, all the bits that you've got. British. Improved grenade rifles. Cards removed and effects merged into the new British Grenadiers card. Ooh, okay. I swear to God, if Grenadiers become a meta with any civ, I'm going to main that civ. They've always been like my favorite unit. New British Grenadiers. Excuse me, just need to sneeze there. Card added compared to the 2 previous cards. Okay, having a sneezing fit, of course, whilst I'm trying to record a video. And I'm not going to have time to edit that out, so I'm just going to put this out straight away. Compared to the 2 previous cards, this card improves Grenadiers in combat by 15%, down from 20%, and building damage by an additional plus 20%, down from 20%. Okay, but it's gonna be 1 card in age 3. Okay, that could be cool. So grenade rifles and improved grenades. So basically this card gives them the grenade attack. It's still not going to make the meta though. It's still not going to make the meta, which is unfortunate, but maybe we'll see some, maybe now we'll start to see Musk Grens in age 2 with Brits, and then obviously they've got this card to upgrade them in when they reach age 3. So maybe we could see Muskgren Culverin. Like Muskgren Culverin could be a thing. Chinese hand mortar added a 6 multiplier against siege units. Okay, that's good because obviously they only do damage to things like mortars, culverins, falconets. So now they'll do damage to siege units as well. I think that's like Grens and stuff. That's interesting. They could wreck Grenadiers then. Team Hanging Bridges corrected the availability of the card to age 2 from age 1 and updated the icon. Okay. Dutch East India Company 1 improves bank HP by 50% from 100%. Icon updated. Why feel the need to change that card? Like, why feel the there was a couple of guys in my Discord that came up with they called it EBB or something like that. And it's the Dutch East India Company. And all it was experimenting with the age 1 card. Because it did get buffed. It did get improved to age 1, I think, instead of age 2. It's clearly not meta. It's clearly not the meta. So now to punish anyone that wanted to do it by decreasing the bank HP by 50% just seems completely frivolous. And it feels like a change for the sake of change. So that's one thing. Sometimes that's something that annoys me. Just because I'll post something on a video that someone has sent to me, or there's a current fun little meta evolving, doesn't mean it needs to be changed. Doesn't mean it needs to be changed. And that feels like all that feels like is you're punishing people who potentially want to try a new type of Dutch build, which isn't even better. It's just different. So to punish that feels like a massive smack in the face to anyone that likes to kind of innovate new builds. So I really, really don't. I feel like I might be spending too much time on this, but I really don't like that change, and I feel like that's almost put in deliberately because of what me and a couple of other guys kind of came up with. It's not the meta. It's not game changing by any stretch of the imagination. If anything, it's technically worse than the normal Dutch build. So to nerf it is just in it for the sake of being in it. So hopefully they revert that by it is the PUP. It is a PUP preview update, so they can change things before it goes live. So hopefully that's something that gets changed, because that's just silly. Like any newcomers or any Dutch mains that are lower elos that are that like doing that build now because we showcased it, now it's going to get nerfed, and I don't like that. I don't like the thought of lower elo players enjoying a build that they've just started and now it's going to get nerfed. But anyways, let's move on. Belinda Hitam. Fix the omission of build limits for Akans, now 20. Build limit now scales with additional Akan settlements. So this is the card, I believe, that gives you the Akans and the free like barracks for them, the free native barracks. And it fixed the omission of build limits. So now you can only make 20? So you have to send an age 4 card that costs gold, and you can only make 20 of them. It gives you some, but now you can only make 20 of them. It's an H4 card. Dutch don't have musketeers. Why is this? Again, this is part of this build. Again, and I did a build recently where I did both of these cards, and now it's being nerfed because I won that game. It's being nerfed. Again, I think it's. I don't like this. I mean, Dutch are like bottom tier. They're near the bottom for tier wise. You know, they're a difficult starting civ as well for newcomers. Like, why are we making it more difficult for them? Like, this is just stupid. Like, sorry, that is fucking stupid. That is fucking stupid. That's actually made me a bit annoyed. Like, I can't lie. Like, these changes. Why are we nerfing Dutch? Like, they need buffs. Why are we nerfing them? Who thought that was a good idea? Okay, moving on. Let's hope we can get these nerfs. Let's hope we can get these nerfs changed. But again, guys, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Am I just getting overheated for no reason? Ethiopia, Shotter Warrior, movement speed increased to 6.25. These guys are getting buffed, really? New Team Habesha Chemis sends 3 villagers, 7 Jesuit allies. Now sends 6 Conquistadors, and 10 Jesuit allies. Now sends 8. I think that's a good idea. I think the one in age 3 is too good. But maybe the one in age 2 isn't good enough. Maybe you could leave age 2. Oh, okay, no, apologies. So they're nerfing both of them. So it obviously was originally supposed to be 7 and 10. Now it's 6 and 8, which I actually think is a good idea. So these things are too good, I think, because the actual unit itself got buffed a few patches ago, and Ethiopia are too good at the moment anyway. Ethiopia are regarded as a very, very good civ, so to nerf them very slightly is pretty good. I'm not sure about this change, though. I'm not sure about the Shotter Warriors, because in essence, overall, this is just going to be a buff, because if you're buffing Shotter Warriors, then it's just, you just don't have to send these cards, and this is an overall buff for Ethiopia. But I like those changes. I like the Conquistador changes. French, team something card, name simplified to team Senegalese rifleman and icon outdated. Okay, France, no changes. Good. Don't think they need any change. Germans, Doppelsodner, melee attack range is now visible. Okay. Team cavalry attack effect no longer stacks with the Italian equivalent card. Okay, so Germans. So Germans, no changes. Germany are very good civ at the moment. Probably could see some nerfs. But at the moment, it doesn't look like there's any nerfs. So, I mean, Howden Ashoni, War Chief, Eagle Eye abilities, area of effect reduced to 2 from 3. Interesting. That's always been very, very good, especially like against early rushes when you don't have that many units. So that's interesting. Tomahawk, hit points reduced to 145 to 150. That's going to be deliberate for something. I don't know why, but that HP is deliberate. Like, it takes a certain like amount of TC shots or TC and outpost shots or something like that. So I'm not sure why that's been changed, but Tomahawks aren't regarded as a particularly good unit. So I don't think that needs to change. But maybe there's method in the madness. I don't know. Forest Prowler train time increased to 36 seconds from 33. Okay, so they're nerfing Forest Prowlers. Ram can now attack units inflicting 10 damage with a 4 multi against artillery. Rams continue to prioritize buildings over units. So they're really trying to buff Ram. So even with the Ram buffs, we're still not seeing any Ram play. That's interesting. So now now essentially Rams are going to be able to attack normal units, which is fine. Make them more useful. Fine. Hauser, Fodio Tactics. That's what gives extra range, I think. Card move to H3. Good. Very good. Non-siege range. Non-siege range now gets increased by +2. Down from +3. Siege range now gets increased by +4. Up from +3. Okay. Fulani H's range now increased to... do I like this change? So Fulani archers are buffed in H2 now. And that's where they're most scary. Right? So wait, so they're buffed in H2, and the way that what they've done there is they've done that deliberately, so they when they get to H3, they only now get 2 instead of an extra 3 range. So it's still gonna end up 20 anyway. But now you're telling me that they can't have 20 range from a card, but they get 18 range as standard. That's a buff. That is a goddamn buff. Hauser are like one of the best in the game, and that is a buff. You any guys watching this right now? Fulani archers, you always see them in H2 play. You always see Hauser do lots of H2 play. So now they're not going to bother to send Fodio Tactics. Instead, they'll just send another military shipment or some other card in H2. But now they're going to have 18 range in H2. 18 range in H2. They're a crossbow unit. And they have 18 range. Bruh. Nah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not happy about that. That's a crazy That's a crazy buff. Like guys, seriously, that they're gonna be able to kite even harder. And there's matchups like the Hauser versus Sweden, which is just already impossible for Sweden. And now Fulani archers get even more range, bruh. That's crazy. So yeah, a nice buff for Hauser there. Interesting. On to Inca, Haraka, damage multiplier against infantry. Now applies to heavy infantry only. Good. Range reduced to 21 in H3, down from 23, and increased to 14 in H2, up from 12. Good. So we got nerfs to Harakas. Harakas obviously needed to be nerfed. They like 5 of them one hit a falconet. Like it was just dumb. It was so you can put those things on stagger mode, you know, like it was just so damn good. So now that they've nerfed, so to punish falconets, they have to get within 21 range, which is good. They're still going to delete them because they still do the same multipliers and the same damage versus artillery, but they're going to have to walk in further. So they're going to have to take another 1 or 2 shots from artillery before they go down, and potentially your skirmishers and other units can do more damage as well. So I think that's good, and Harakas needed to be nerfed. So I think that's a very good change. That's a very, very good change. Plume Spearman. Cost increased to 100 food to 20 and 25 wood. Wow, so they get an extra 10 food. Interesting. Does that mean that their big button will be changed? I don't think that will, but that would be interesting if their big button gets increased. Chimu Runner, cost and train time increased. Wow, so they're getting 5 extra food and 5 extra coin, and it takes them 3 seconds longer. Wow, so Inca getting hit hard with the hammer here, with the nerf hammer, which is good. Jungle Bowman, poison effect now inflicts 50% less damage against heavy cavalry and hand stock. That's mad that they did that before anyway. So that seems like that's just putting him in line with what other infantry have. Priestess, hit points reduced to 320 from 360. That's obviously because of the Yukati build right now as well. Him doing the free priestess age up. Do priestesses need to be changed? I don't think so, but they are very tanky, so maybe that's fine. It's about a 10% decrease, just over 10% decrease to HP, so that's still fine. It makes priestesses more punishable. But yeah, overall, big nerfs for Inca. I say big nerfs. I mean, the Chimu Run is a big nerf. Everything else is just a nerf. I think that's good because Inca are regarded as like the best civ in the game right now, and they needed these nerfs, and that's really good to see. So I'm happy about those changes. Italians, Roman tactics now also improves units in the Imperial Age by an additional 15%, but the aura's radius has been halved to 17. Interesting. I'm not a fan of that card. I don't see many people go for that either. It's a cool card though. Team cavalry attack effect no longer stacks with German equivalent cards. So no real changes for Italians, realistically, which is interesting because Italians are in a weird position. Some people think they're bad. Some people think they're S tier. It's a very awkward place to be with Italian. I think I'm going to start playing a lot more with Italy and really kind of drilling down in some of their builds and seeing how good they are because it is a really fun civ for me. It always has been. Lakota, team run distillery. Okay, card added. Okay, so Lakota just got a rum distillery. That's going to be one of the like, is it plus certain percent, like 15% to farms, maybe something like that. Japanese. Oh no, they're changing the 47 Ronin card. 47 Ronin. We did it, boys. No, we shouldn't have posted the videos. 47 Ronin, Masterless Samurai, are now also classified as heavy infantry and had their speed reduced to 5.5. See, this is... I've posted a couple of videos of this, and like the guy that did it is a really top player. His name's Wasasabi, Pirashiki Kids he goes by at the moment. And he's a really, really fantastic Japanese player, and he's literally leading the way with Japan meta at the moment, and I really like watching that guy. He's the guy that did the 300 food first card, you know, meta stuff, all that sort of good stuff. So him doing these, and I have to admit, they were so fun to watch, weren't they? 7-speed Masterless Samurai was the most hilarious thing ever, and they needed to get nerfed, right? They needed to get nerfed. To be honest, just giving them the heavy infantry tag means that skirmishers will wreck them now. The speed down from 7 is a huge nerf, but they still got 5.5 speeds, which is still quite good. But I think that the only problem, right? The only problem when you do things like this is you've completely destroyed the card now. We'll likely never see this build ever again. And is that what the developers want? Is that what it's an age 4 card? It costs a lot of resources. You know, you have to have a lot of shrines to make it work. You know, your opponent should be punishing Japan before you get to that stage of the game anyway. Is it fair now that this build, this whole card has been completely destroyed? Hey, because I love seeing obscure builds. That's what I'm all about. That's what this channel is all about. Showcasing high-level competitive play and particularly crazy build orders. That's what I love more than anything, and showing you guys. That's what I absolutely love, and seeing your guys' reaction to these things, and then trying the builds out for yourself. That's what I love, you know, more than anything on this channel, and that's why I have this channel. And so when I see things like this, it does feel a little like, yes, it needed a nerf. Don't get me wrong, but that's a big nerf. Giving it a heavy infantry tag is huge. I mean, you could just slow the speed down to 5.5, and that might be enough. You know. Now giving it a heavy infantry tag as well as the speed nerf, we're never going to see that card again. So, you know, hopefully they maybe revert some of this, because it is a nice all in. It is a nice all in. So hopefully it's not nerfed that hard. Team Odzetsu Mortars fix an issue with the card, neither affecting damage nor the team as a whole. Now also grants Samurai a hand mortar siege attack. Samurai get a hand mortar siege attack. Only against builders. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Maltese, reduce shipment penalty curve to 1% from 2%. Oh, that's massive. Anyone who doesn't know, anytime you nerf or buff the shipment curve, like, it's huge. It's huge. Like, it makes a difference between your first shipment and all the way to your last shipment and how many shipments you get. So now that reduced the shipment penalty curve to 1%. From 2%, so that's 50%. That's a buff of 50% to the penalty curve. Malta are quite weak at the moment. They're strong but also weak. It's difficult to tell, but giving Malta a nice buff like that, I think, could be really great. So new 1 Falconet plus 1 mortar in age 3 card added. That's interesting. That is interesting. Are people going to have that in their deck? I don't know. Because you tend not... that looks like an anti-turtle card. I like that they've added that. That seems like a really cool card, right? Because And the fact that they've got one Falconet, that could be okay. That could be okay. I like that card, but is that going to be good to send? I don't know. I don't know, because obviously most people just send 2 Falconets. Most civilizations have 2 Falconets, and 2 Falconets will destroy one Falcon. Like, one Falconet doesn't even take down one Falconet if it's 2 versus 1. You know, so it's one of those things. But yeah, we'll see. Still, I like the concept. So that's a really cool concept, and I think I like that change. As long as it doesn't buff Malta too hard, I like that change. So overall, Malta seem like really nice changes, really small but nice changes. Mexicans, here we go, boys. Here comes the nerf hammer. Salteador, hit points and speed reduced to 110 from 115, and 4 from 4.25. Salteadors, yes, they probably did get buffed too hard last patch. Range reduced to 18 now instead of 19. But the Vigilantes upgrade now adds +2, +1. Okay, so it's still better than they originally were, which was only 17. Don't forget they are an expensive skirmisher, because they have that added stealth tech, which is just useless. Hit points have now been reduced, and their speed has been reduced, which is huge. The speed reduction is huge, but I think that's in line with other skirmishers. So they'll probably lose to other skirmishers now in straight out skirm wars, but a lot of people consider Mexico too good at the moment. So, nerfing Salteadors, I think, is probably a good thing. So that's fine. Plan of Aytula fixed an issue that resulted in revolutionaries not becoming available after returning from a revolt. Plan of Miramare, cost reduced to... Okay. Maya Revolution. Don't be changing my boy Maya. Cruisob Infantry. Range decreased to 16 from 18, and cost increased to 80 food. So why would you change Cruisob Infantry? See, this is again right. So what you do, right, when you change the Maya Revolution, okay, it's essentially an Age 5 equivalent. Would they make? Is there ever any changes to Imperial Age stuff? No, there's not. So why are they making changes to the Imperial Revolt? That's what I don't get. Like, if you get to Maya, like, I'm not saying it should be an insta win, right? But I'm saying, like, you should be rewarded. You should hella be rewarded. So I don't like that change. I know it's Cruisob Infantry is still obviously a musketeer type unit. It's more like a Carolean type unit. So yes, still having 16 range is obviously still good. Maybe 18 range was too good, but that's what it always has been. I would be happy if they left the coin cost in there. I mean, even increase the cost. To be honest, leave it at 18, right? But increase it to 80 food and 50 coin. I'd be fine with that. Just increase the cost of them so you can't make as many of them. Don't decrease the unit itself, because you're just decreasing the chance of people wanting to go to the Maya Revolution, which is, again, a massive shame, because it's like the coolest build in the game, going to Maya. So I disagree, but also agree with that change. I would rather keep the range, but increase the cost. That's what I would prefer. Cult of the Talking Cross corrected the tooltip, pointing out the card improves both hit points and damage to all hero units, not just generals. Okay. No idea how to pronounce that. No job be done. Now also sends 6 fishing boats. Icon updated. I'm not sure what card that is. Maria Ukab updated the priestess's strength and capabilities to roughly match a legendary Inca priestess. Enables retraining in cathedrals. Build limit to 1. I think this is the card in Maya Revolt which sends 1 Inca priestess, which is like the most, like, I'm gonna say it, the most stupid card I've ever seen ever. I think, like, but now what they're doing is they're increasing it to a legendary status, which sounds cool, which sounds really cool. But I think is it fine if you increase the build limit of that? Like, like, maybe at least increase it to like 3 or something. Like, because I mean, even having a legendary one, you still only having 1 of them would still be bad, right? Like, you're not going to send that card still, are you? But I don't know what a legendary priestess is capable of. But again, it would be cool. It would be cool if you could make more than 1. But that's cool that they're changing that card. But again, it's not going to be a card you're gonna send. So Rio Grande Rio Grande Revolution. Guard upgrades. Remain free, but now take 200% longer to research. So we knew. I presumed that the Rio Grande nerfs were coming because that straight fast fortress is too good. It's very punishable, but it is too good. It is too good. Don't get me wrong. So they're now. I like that. So they haven't like nerfed the whole thing, right? They haven't nerfed it completely. Now this seems like a really good change. They've also nerfed the amount of settlers that you can send, which again I agree with. It's the same with Texas Revolution, but with Texas Revolution they completely nerfed it out of existence. With this, that's still good, being able to send 24. So you can't make any more villagers outside of haciendas, right? So that's fine. I agree with that. You're often not going to be sending this card beyond 24 villagers anyway. And the guard stuff takes 200% longer. It might mean now that you'll have to send 16 revolutionaries before you send your falconet shipment. That's what that might mean. Or if you send your falconets, you might not get the upgrades in time. But I agree with that change, and that is a big. So the changes, the devs who changes that is exactly how you should nerf something. I really like the way they've nerfed that because they haven't nerfed it out of existence. That Rio Grande Fast Fortress is still going to be a thing against certain matchups, but it's not going to be as punishing because you're not going to get your field cannons and your Royale with cheese from the Culverins as quick, anywhere near as quick. And so in total, that's 400% longer, which is a long time. So yeah, I really like those changes, but I still think the Revolt's going to be good. So anyone who's been doing that a lot recently, because of some of my vids and some other people doing it recently, which I love, by the way, guys, I love it when you do some of those builds. It's still going to be good. It's still going to be good. So that's really great to see. Texas Army, Texas Revolution fixed an issue with the cost increase by setting it to 50 coin. Also reverted the train time increase. Wait a minute. So it cost 500 coin to send the Imperial unit card, but they also reverted the train time increase. So I don't know what they reverted there. Like, so does that mean that it only costs 500 coin to send now, and it doesn't cost any train time? Or reverted the train time increase. I'm not sure what that means, but if the Texas Army, right? So with the Texas Revolt, because it got nerfed to the point where it was pointless doing, because this is the main reason. This is the only reason you go to Texas Revolt, right? The only reason you'd go to Texas over California, for example, or Texas over anything, is because you want those Imperial units. And if it means now that it's just cost 500 coin and you can send the techs, then that's good. That's very good. But I don't know if there's still a delay in the train time or what. If there is, then it's probably still bad. I don't know. Well, I'll have to play around with that and see what that happens. And trust me, guys, I will be playing around with these changes. So, yeah. So I like those changes, but I don't like the Maya changes. I like the Salty Door changes as well. So nerfs for Mexico. Which but not hard nerfs. So that's good. Ottomans, Azap, fix an issue with the siege damage not being reduced to 20. Okay. Range damage multiplier against light cavalry increased. Oh, wow. So they do more damage versus goons now. Range decreased to 14. Okay. But the veteran and guard, because I think they had 16 range, didn't they? But the veteran and guard upgrades now improve range by +2, up from +1. Okay, cool. The Imam, cost increased to 900 food. Oh, this is the age up. Cost increased to 900 food and now provides 200 gold, up from 100. Interesting. I don't know if that's worth sending. I think is that the one that gives you an extra church, right? Because now it gives 200 gold, it could actually be worth sending. Because if you're doing like the fortress builds, like you only need to then get 100 gold, and then you can just send the 700 gold. That could be an interesting age up now. I'll have to see if that's worth it, because XP is really, really good. So I think that's the one that gives you an extra mosque. So that could be really, really good. The change to Azap I like. So it's nerfing them, but not by a lot. It's nerfing and buffing them at the same time. But the range decrease is huge. We've got that Azap Delhi kind of meta at the moment with Otto, which is dangerous. It's a very dangerous composition. So maybe they're trying to nerf that. But it's still like it'll still be very effective, so that's fine. Portugal Ordnance Rifleman reverted unintentional improvements to the unit's speed and train time. Okay. Team Run Distillery card added and replaces the Rum Distillery card. Interesting. So it's now Team Rum Distillery. So naval infantry now also classifies other ships than galleons as training ships, resulting in lower damage on culverins. Okay, so no real changes to Portugal. I feel like Portugal are very, very good. I feel like Portugal are like that sort of Germany tier at the moment. I feel like Portugal and Germany probably need nerfs, to be honest. You know, the same with Hauser as well. And these civs seem to have they seem to get away with no changes here, which is interesting. I feel like Portugal probably need to get rid of the fast age up card, the fast age up. You know, the Exile Prince. You know, their 10-10 as well is insane right now. So maybe like a -50 would crate or something like that at the start. Because I feel like Portugal are just too good. They scale way too good at the moment. They get free. You can have free TCs at like 6 minutes. That's just insane. You know, but. No changes from Portugal. So Portugal are still going to be really good. Germany is still going to be really good. Hauser is still going to be really good. Otto is still going to be really good. Russia, 5 Porichucks, increased to 6. That is massive. That is massive. I believe that is the Halberdiers, right? Is that the Halberdiers? I think that's the Halberdiers. They're age 2 Halberdiers. So the fact that they get 6 now is huge. Yeah, because recruits is the Ruskits. So that is huge that they get 6 of those Halbs now. That's massive. That could, honestly, guys, that could change things. That just having that in their deck now, that could change things for Russia. So that's a nice buff for Russia. Sweden, March of the Hacker Pellets to age 2 now also sends free Hacker Pellets. Wow! Oh, wow! Yes! Yes! That is fantastic. What? I did not expect that. That's hit me like a train. Wow. This is the card that allows you to make Hacker Pellets in age 2. Now the fact that it sends free Hacker Pellets, which you can argue is like essentially like a free Hazard card in age 2, but this now also allows you to make them. That could be huge. That could be, guys, I'm not joking when I say that could be huge, because Sweden have so many bad matchups, right? And having Hacker Pellets earlier could be the difference between that matchup now being fair. So honestly, we'll probably see the end of the Carolean leather cannon meta in every single matchup, and now we might actually see Carolean Hacker Pellets, which sounds counterintuitive because they're both anti-cav, but honestly, Hacker Pellets are a versatile unit. It does mean it will mean that I think that you know that Hacker Pellets are a weak cavalry unit to begin with, so they are going to be not great. But I'm thinking of like the Hauser matchup. You know, the Hauser matchup is just impossible. The Ottoman matchup, you know, just having Hacker Pellets might change things. So I really like that change. That is fucking brilliant. Whoever thought that was a good idea, they need to give themselves a pat on the back. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back just because, you know, I want to share the love, because that is fantastic. And I know there's a lot of Sweden mains in there that will be happy with that. That's cool. I really like that. Maybe we can see H2 pure Hacker Pellet play now. You know, Hacker Pellets aren't a brilliant unit. They've been OP in the past, but you know, I just can't stop talking about that. That's such a nice change. That's such a nice change. They haven't buffed like Torps or nerfed Torps. They haven't done anything to the eco. They haven't done anything crazy. But what they've done is they've made this card really worth sending now, and it's just that's just such a really, really nice niche change to make, because whoever made that change understands Sweden have bad matchups, and that's the way of buffing it. I don't know how good the card's still going to be. Is it still going to be worth sending over something like 2 leather cannons or whatever? I don't know. But still, I really like that change. United States, Carbine Cavalry range reduced to 12 from 14 in age 2, but automatically restored to 14 in age 3. So United States are considered one of the best civs in the game right now, and a large part of that is because of Carbine Cavalry. United States were never really an issue power-wise until Carbine Cavalry got buffed. Now Carbine Cavalry have been buffed. People are starting to say that they're an issue. I don't know if that's enough of a change. So the only way you get Carbine Cavalry in H2 is through like a tech through the Pennsylvania Church or Philadelphia Church with the Pennsylvania Tech. And that gives you like 5 Carbine Cavalry for like 800 food or something. And there's a card for like 500 resources that you can send in H2 to give you another 5 or so as well. So it could be a way of punishing those church techs. But again, I don't know if that's enough of a change. I think they should have maybe 13 range. I think they should only get buffed to 13 range. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Revolutions, Argentina, higher Elmetti, fixed the wrong display number of the card in the Italian-Argentina revolution. Cool, so Argentina staying as it is, which I like because I really like that revolt. Canada, Native Warrior conscription, card replaced with Team Native weapon trade, increasing Native Warrior build limits. Cool. Canada specializes in Native builds. So if any Native enjoyers out there, start playing around with Canada because that makes your natives insane. Chile, German settlements, now sends 2 settler wagons, down from 3. That feels a bit unnecessary because that's essentially 4 villages, whilst a lot of these revolts give 6 normal settlers. So having 3 settler wagons is the equivalent of that. Settler wagons now take 40 seconds to train, up from 25. Wow. But to be fair, Chile don't need buffs. Chile don't need buffs because Chile's the best revolt in the game still. So Salitrera, fixed the omission of build limits for states, now 10, and lowered the coin trickle to 0.5 coin, down from 0.8. Okay, that's fine. So small nerfs to the Chile revolt, but that's fine because generally it's an all-in anyway, so you're not really often sending that. I would like to see a reduction in cost actually to the new mercenary card that they get. It costs 2,200 coin or something ridiculous like that, and it's not even good. It gives you the Prussia card. I have actually pulled that off once, but it's so damn expensive. It's not even good. It gives you like guard skirms and some guard Ulons, which just aren't as good as revolutionaries and the hussars that it gives, the deaf hussars anyway. So I would like to see a nerf to the amount of coin that costs. Or a buff, rather, if you look at it that way. So it should have less coin. It should be less coin to send. Like 1,500 would be fine, But again, it's not like we need Chile buffs, so that's absolutely fine. Gran Colombia, 3 ironclads added. Wow! So Gran Colombia is kind of a bad revolt. It's a good water revolt, and giving 3 ironclads is huge. So that's a nice change. Is that revolt going to be viable? No. Indonesia, advanced arsenal, card added. Interesting. Sumatran elephants, infinite, also adds 1 population space cost to war elephants. Okay. I think that's the card that gives you 1 of those war elephants per shipment. So if you've sent that shipment 5 times, every time you send a shipment, it will give you 5 of them. But that just takes way too long for it to become worth doing. And Indonesia is honestly it's probably the worst, aside from Haiti. Indonesia and Haiti are probably like the worst revolts in the game, and Gran Colombia. So that's still not going to be worth. They're still not going to be good, and that's hilarious because that's a nerf. That's a nerf. Like, why would you be nerfing that? It's bad. Maybe there's like free for all. I come at all of this stuff from a supremacy standpoint, guys. I'm not talking about treaty. I'm not talking about free for alls. This is purely from supremacy. So if this is like too good in free for all in scenarios, then or treaty scenarios, then fine. I'll take that. Because obviously the devs have to look at it from every angle. They can't just look at it from supremacy. So fair play to them. Peru, American allies. I don't know what that card that is. Fix an issue with the card not removing the creature option within the Caribbean Alliance. Okay. Monica Inca is no longer classified as hero. Okay. Peru's a decent revolt, but it's not as good as like the Chiles and Argentinas. It's kind of the mid tier. Romania, They do have like Peru does have like the coolest mercenary shipment in the game though with the Inca. You can essentially, if you play Peru, you can essentially turn yourself into an Inca player in the Industrial Age. It's really really cool. You can get Inca forts. You can make Inca guard units. It's so good. It's so good. But it's too no eco and all that sort of stuff. So I do like Peru. It's still got a place, but it's a really cool, unique revolt. It's one of my favorite revolts. It's just not that good. Romania. This is another mid-tier to low-tier revolt. 8 cavalry archers, card added. Russian expeditionary army, 500 coin. Sends 9 counter dragoons and 3 culverins. Interesting. Fixing issue with several cards. They're really good. They're really good. But again, when you do a revolt, you don't want dragoons and culverins. You want things like hussars and falconets because they're all ins like this is. So to have that, I don't really like that, but it's a good card. It's a very good card. It might change. It might impact the Civ, the revolt. It might make it good. United States, Bushels, Continental Sapers, reverted the cost increase to 500 coin. Okay, Knox Continental Artillery, cost reduced to 600 wood from 1,000 wood. Remove cost from the following cards. Yeah, so they're trying to buff the United States, and I can't get that to work. I just don't feel it's a good revolt. Again, it's really unique, and it's got really cool cards to send. The problem is, it's like a whole nother Civ. Like some of the other really cool revolts out there, but the problem is it doesn't give you any strong eco options. It obviously it's an all-in revolt because it doesn't your villagers turn into revolutionaries, and the only way you still have eco is if you revolt as Sweden, and there's no way you're going to be revolting into United States as Sweden if you've got Finland to revolt into, So yeah, it's just I don't like this revolt, but clearly look, they're trying to buff it. So maybe there's options there. Might be worth a go. They've changed some campaigns, but I'm not going to read that. If you guys want to pause here, you can. Maps, changing maps, removing maps, adding maps, really really cool. So all in all, guys, really really like this pup. It seems like there's small changes everywhere. Really fantastic change to like the walls. The wall changes. We'll go to near the top because some of these changes, like the Sweden change, is fantastic. Is absolutely fantastic. Really, really like that. That's probably my favorite change. Artillery is an interesting one. Now takes 3 seconds to embark on ships. Don't think I like that, but the wall change is massive. Stagger formation could be massive. Some really, really fantastic changes here. Some changes to balance I'm not sure of. Like I feel like Hausa, Germany, and Portugal probably needed a little bit of a nerf. But some buffs in other areas to some civs that needed it. So, guys, it's almost an hour. I don't want to take any more of this time. Let me guys know what you think. Have a fantastic day. This is going to get posted ASAP. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.